Good evening. President Obama spent Memorial Day honoring the sacrifices of veterans and fallen soldiers and talking about the treatment some veterans received coming home from the Vietnam War. So what do local Vietnam vets say about the past and the treatment they received today? WVUA's Travis Leader takes a look in our top story.
You came home and sometimes were denigrated when you should have been celebrated. It was a national shame, a disgrace that should have never happened.
It's now been 50 years and 50 Memorial Days since the increased U.S. troop involvement in Vietnam. And some veterans vividly remember how they were treated once they came back to America.
Spitting, baby killer, call you baby killers, everything. I mean, it was awful. And we didn't be asked to be sent over there. We were sent over there.
West Alabama Vietnam veterans hope to remind younger generations of the sacrifices some had to make because of the draft.
They don't realize what happened 40 years ago, 45 years ago, even Korean War even, you know, World War II. Of course, we don't have no World War I left, but there's definitely a gap between there they just don't realize.
But decades later, some say the wounds are healing.
I really think now that people have come down to realize that Vietnam was a war too. And I think they consider us now as better people than they did when we come back.
And during this holiday, they remember those who survived those conflicts, especially their fellow comrades who lost their lives in combat.
Respect for us that's already still here, and those that did not come back. Like I said, I had a nephew over there, and he can't be here today, but I respect what he done and tried to do, and all of his fellow members too.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa County, Travis Leader, WVUA News.
President Obama said one of the bad chapters in American history is the initial treatment Vietnam War vets received coming home. The president pledged that won't happen again in the future. Meanwhile, today at the Tuscaloosa VA Medical Center, people also stopped to honor the men and women who sacrificed their lives for their country. Holt High School Junior ROTC performed a special ceremony for the fallen and performed military taps. The keynote speaker was Lieutenant Colonel James G. Lake with the Marion Military Institute.
The high level of deployments that the soldiers are experiencing these days, it's very likely that they're going to go overseas and serve and deploy, and so to join now knowing that is pretty unique and pretty special.
And at Tuscaloosa's Veterans Memorial Park, people also remember those who have died fighting for our freedom. WVUA's Jennifer Edwards takes us there.
Sacrifice is meaningless without remembrance.
Friends, family, and fellow veterans are spending the day honoring those who put their lives on the line for freedom.
I think that it is tremendously important to have a day like this to remember the people that gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Other veterans spent this day giving thanks to the families of veterans.
The family of a veteran has given more than a veteran has unless he gives the ultimate sacrifice. Because when I was activated, there was those that stayed to the house, raised the kids, prayed for us, watched over us, and took care of us.
For 27-year-old Private Alex Saldana, this Memorial Day has a little bit of a different meaning. Private Saldana is set to deploy for Afghanistan in less than a month.
Before this, I was in college. I was going to college for free, through government grants. And then I kind of felt like, if my country's going to do this for me, what am I going to do for my country?
Young men and women and their families are serving around the world and dying, so it should be remembered every day with prayer.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Jennifer Edwards, WVUA News.
Veterans Memorial Park is a memorial for all veterans of the United States Armed Services. It's also a tribute to the Northington General Hospital, one of the largest military hospitals in the war at the end of World War II. If you'd like to know more about the park or help support the park, you can call them at 205-562-3220. Well, the veterans of Foreign War Post 6022 in Cottondale held a barbecue fundraiser and open house today. Organizers say they hope to bring in new people to join the VFW. The Ladies Auxiliary pitched in to help make today's events go smoothly. Veterans Day holds a special place in all of these veterans' hearts.
Memorial Day is one of the ones that we get it out to the public what we're here for and why we're here, and we're so much more than a lot of people believe that we are. We try to be a voice in the community and try to help as much as we can.
The president focused on honoring those who paid the ultimate price on the battlefield on this Memorial Day, but he also took time out to tout his foreign policy accomplishments during a remembrance ceremony this afternoon. Dan Lothian reports.
Honoring fallen war heroes, President Obama laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, marked the 50th anniversary of the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and met privately at the White House for breakfast with Gold Star families who've lost loved ones in combat. A solemn day, even as the president used the moment to tout his foreign policy achievements.
For the first time in 9 years, Americans are not fighting and dying in Iraq. We are winding down the war in Afghanistan, and our troops will continue to come home.
But serious global challenges remain, raising the prospect of future military action. North Korea and rocket tests, Iran and nuclear ambitions, Syria with endless violence and a leader unwilling to go.
And I think the military option should be considered, and I think that, but my preference, of course, always as the senior military leader would be that the international community could find ways of increasing the pressure on Assad to do the right thing and step aside.
There's mounting pressure on Syria after the massacre of dozens of children in Hula. Russia and China, holdouts in UN Security Council resolutions aimed at Assad, criticized the violence, but stopped short of condemning the government. The so-called Annan peace plan seems to be going nowhere, so the former UN Secretary General flew to Damascus in a last-ditch effort to salvage the plan. White House aides say the window for a diplomatic solution is narrowing, but Middle East experts caution a military operation in Syria could have broader consequences.
Unlike Libya, there is more of a risk of escalation, of instability spilling out across borders, and more difficult for U.S. and allied air crews to get after and destroy Syrian air defenses.
And when WVUA News at 10 returns tonight, Daniel Sparkman's up with your home team weather forecast. But first, here's today's Weather Almanac.
Each of them loved this country and everything it stands for, more than life itself.
But they gave all their futures so that you and I could live in this strong, free, and beautiful America. Freedom is not free.